Hello and good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brendan Paul and you're watching News at 10. Our headlines tonight. Malaysia and Japan boost bilateral relations efforts. And government needs to aggressively promote domestic direct investments. Prime Minister Dato Sri Semasa today held a four-eyed meeting with his Japanese counterpart Fumio Kishida to discuss efforts to boost Malaysia-Japan bilateral relationship. The meeting, which was the first time for both leaders since taking over the office respectively, lasted for about half an hour at Japanese Prime Minister office in Tokyo. In his address, Dato Sri Semasa expressed Malaysia's appreciations for the fruitful 65 years bilateral ties between both countries and Japan's support in the Look East policy since its emancipation 40 years ago. The Premier also hoped that the ties between Malaysia and Japan could be further strengthened by increasing strategic and comprehensive cooperation. The meeting was also joined by cabinet ministers and other Malaysian delegates. Meanwhile, Kishida, in his speech, welcomed Malaysia's participation in the Free Open Indo-Pacific Cooperation. Both of the leaders had earlier held a Japan-Malaysia conference and spoken to each other in a phone call on 20th April that touched on various regional and international issues. Dato Sri Semasa also held a high-profile meet-and-greet session with top executives and chief executive officers from 23 prominent Japanese companies in Tokyo to attract more investments to conjure opportunities for technological transfers and create more job opportunities for Malaysians. Dato Sri Semasa said topics of discussion include the expansion of the company's existing investments in Malaysia, adding that several companies had also expressed their interest in investing in the country. The Premier also took the opportunity to brief them on investment incentives, including the 5-year tax exemption for companies that wish to expand their investments in Malaysia. During the meeting, Wako, a Japanese semiconductor manufacturing company, had finalized new investments worth 1 billion ringgit. Dato Sri Semasa also witnessed an exchange of approval letter for incentive offer between Chief Executive Officer of Malaysia Investment Development Authority, Dato Arham Abdul Rahman, and Wako's chairman, Dato Yosuke Yoshioka, during the meeting. Wako is one of the largest semiconductor manufacturing company that have already set its foot on Malaysian soil since 1989 through its subsidiary Wako Electronics Sendirian Berhad in Kelantan. Mitsubishi Power Limited, an energy solution company in Malaysia, also expressed their interest in expanding its existing operation in Malaysia, which will facilitate technology transfers to Malaysia, while Japan-Malaysia Economic Association, Jamaica, is planning to hold a Look East policy seminar in Malaysia in August.
The investment itself, well, in order to provide the operation and maintenance service for our advanced gas turbine, it's really need to talk with local companies in terms of the labor support and in terms of the technician support. And also we'd like to provide our capacity building. So in future, we'd like to talk with various possibilities with the local companies in such way.
I strongly believe that the two countries, future is very strong, and we have so many things need to do to strengthen the economy in two countries. especially, I would like to focus on the new generations to create the new relationship between two countries.
This is in line with Malaysia's objective of exploring new opportunities in the land of the rising sun, especially in the fields of technology and Japan's latest expertise. 3 memoranda of cooperations MOC in the field of aviation industry, skilled workers as well as sports and youth were finalized between Malaysia and Japan today. The exchange of MOC witnessed by Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri and Kishida took place at the Japanese Prime Minister's office following a 4-hour meeting between the two leaders. On the Malaysian side, the exchange of MOCs was led by the International Trade and Industry Ministry (MITI) for the aircraft industry, the Human Resources Ministry for skilled workers, and the Youth and Sports Ministry for youth and sports matters. Also discussed was cooperation in areas such as volunteer training for disasters, such as floods, and also volunteerism in international sporting events, with Japan leading by example after hosting the Olympic Games in challenging conditions. All parties should respect the prerogative of Prime Minister Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob in appointing a cabinet minister as enshrined in the Federal Constitution. UMNO Secretary General Dato' Sri Ahmad Mazlan said Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia is in no position to make demands to the Prime Minister as the party is in a weak state after Dato' Zuraida Kamarudin's resignation. Recently, Bersatu President Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin was reported as saying that the party would be submitting a new name to the Prime Minister soon for the appointment of a cabinet member to replace Dato' Zuraida, who announced quitting the party.
Saya kira mana ada menteri-menteri ini ikut kota sesuka hati diumum oleh mana-mana presiden partinya. Jadi kita kena berikan kebebasan kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri untuk beliau memilih.
When met during former Johor Menteri Besar Dato' Sri Hasni Mohamad's Hari Raya Aidilfitri Open House in Pontian, Dato' Sri Ahmad said the anti-party hopping bill must be tabled in the next parliament meeting in July, even if there would not be any special sitting. He added that an anti-hopping law is necessary to enhance political stability and public confidence in the democratic process, as well as to ensure the decision made by voters is respected. Datin Sri Rosma Mansor today failed in a final bid to nullify her corruption trial over the 1.25 billion ringgit solar hybrid project in Sarawak and to remove Datuk Sri Gopal Sri Ram as the lead prosecutor in the case. A 3-member bench led by Federal Court Judge Datuk Sri Muhammad Zawawi Saleh made the decision on grounds that the criminal court had no jurisdiction to grant a declaratory relief sought by Datin Sri Rosma. In the unanimous decision, Justice Dato' Sri Muhammad Zawawi said there were written laws such as the Courts of Judicature Act 1964 and that the rules of Court 2012 only conferred inherent power to the civil court. He said the Criminal Procedure Code was a complete and comprehensive law relating to procedures in criminal proceedings. Therefore, he said the question that the criminal court has power to grant the relief does not arise and the appeal is dismissed. Earlier, the court also dismissed Datin Sri Rosma's preliminary objection on whether it was proper for Dato' Sri Gopal Sri Ram to represent the prosecution in today's proceedings. The court did not find any evidence of conflict of interest if he represents the prosecution. Datin Sri Rosma, 70, who is the wife of former Prime Minister Dato' Sri Najib Tun Razak, is facing a charge of soliciting 187.5 million ringgit and 2 charges of receiving bribes totaling 6.5 million ringgit from Jepa Holdings Sendirian Berhad Managing Director Saidi Abang Samsudin as a reward for assisting Jepa Holdings to secure the solar hybrid project to equip 369 schools in Sarawak with solar hybrid power. To come, welcome 19 work packages of Pan-Borneo Highway to use federal government allocations. Stay with us. But first, Malaysia needs to promote domestic direct investments, DDIs, as aggressively as foreign direct investments, FDIs, both are equally important in supporting the nation's economic growth. Efficient business environment for both domestic and foreign investors. He said the government will continue to have engagement and open discourses to gather constructive feedback from the business and investment communities.
The government recognizes the need to enhance private investments to realize its vision of achieving high-income nation status by the year 2025. The goal is for private investments to increase by about 3.8% per annum during the 12th Malaysia Plan period, compared to 1.2% per annum in the 11th Plan.
Speaking during the How to Revive Domestic Direct Investment Forum by the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, he said private investments are crucial to drive a sustainable economy post-COVID-19. The government is seeking to expand and implement policies that would enable the country to realize its economic potential over the medium to long term. The remaining 19 of the 35 work packages under Phase 1 of the Pan-Borneo Highway project in Sabah will be implemented using allocations from the federal government. Senior Works Minister Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof said his ministry would not implement the project through the private finance initiatives as proposed by the state government in order to speed up the project. Elaborating further the matter, Datuk Seri Fadillah said the implementation and procurement methods are currently being finalised through the Ministry of Finance. He further said focus will be given to work packages number 28, 29 and 30, involving upgrading works of Jalan Sandakan Batu 32 Moinot, Jalan Moinot Sapi Nanggo and Jalan Sapi Nanggo Sungai Baito. Attention would also be given to Jalan Telupit since it is the main route connecting the west and east coast districts of Sabah.
Dan sudah pasti cabaran utama kita ialah bagaimana kita nak maintain ataupun menyenggara jalan Telupit ini yang merupakan jalan yang dah tempoh hayatnya dah habis. Apakah strategi? Kalau mengikut strategi JKR Sabah, mereka nak menumpukan membina jalan baru sebab peruntukan kalau kita nak membaik ataupun membaru buka jalan ini kos yang agak besar, tapi lepas itu jalan ini nanti akan dibuka untuk membina memberi laluan jalan pembinaan jalan Pan-Borneo. Jadi apa yang dah dilakukan oleh JKR Sabah ialah untuk memastikan dua lorong jalan baru nanti dibina dulu, barulah kita akan membaru muka, reconstruct lah jalan yang lama ini.
Earlier, Datuk Seri Fadillah inspected work package 27, which involved works to upgrade the road from Kampung Lot M to Batu 32 Sandakan, spanning 18.1 kilometers. He said the entire Phase 1 of the project in Sabah is expected to be ready in the next 5 years. The Rural Development Ministry, KPLB, is committed to strengthening the country's food security at all levels of the food chain by channeling an allocation of 368.37 million ringgit to Felkra Berhad to strengthen the agriculture and livestock sectors. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Madzai Khalid, said a total of 339.14 million ringgit would be used to improve infrastructure, cover the cost of raw materials and upgrade technology, while the rest would be used for internal expenditure.
Bagi sektor penternakan ni, untuk rolling plan yang kedua ni 2022 akan dibelanjakan lebih kurang 60 juta lah, 60 juta ringgit bagi kilang proses makanan ternakan. Jadi ini dah ada pun di beberapa tempat di Terengganu, di Perak, Jadi nak diperbesarkan sikitlah makanan ternakan sebab disebut dalam tu salah satu daripada punca jadi mahal ni adalah kerana makanan ternakan. Jadi Pekra ambil satu daripada portion dia iaitu makanan ternakan.
Speaking at a press conference at the Felkra Musra Aidilfitri ceremony at Wisma Felkra today, he said the project was to optimize the basic ingredients for local feed and develop a concentrate factory and a silage factory to fulfill the requirements of a full value chain. Dr. Sri Madze also said that Felkra Processing Engineering Seniran Berhad was also improving the operation of its factory to increase production of Suri brand palm oil-based coconut milk, substitute from 30 tons to 60 tons per month to meet domestic needs. And also, the Rural Development Ministry, KBLB, will work together with the Communications and Multimedia Ministry to increase the quality of internet accessibility in rural areas. Its Minister, Dr. Sri Madze Khalid, said the ministry has identified areas that are always experiencing internet disruption issue, especially classes of Community Development Department KEMAS. Up until now, there are over 11,000 of KEMAS classes nationwide, and not all of them have stable internet connections.
Jadi kalau 11,000, berapa ribu saja yang ada connectivity. Yang dekat dengan bandar ni okeylah. Connectivity yang jauh daripada bandar, mungkin dia punya connectivity rendah. Dia macam mana kita nak tolong supaya sekolah KEMAS juga dapat ditingkatkan. Itu maksud saya. Jadi ada usaha yang kita buat supaya akhirnya kita juga dapat membantu kerajaan untuk meningkatkan connectivity internet di luar bandar.
He said this when met by reporters today. The Malaysia Rubber Council, MRC, will put more focus in export of other rubber products following the decrease in demand for rubber gloves. Its Chief Executive Officer, Nur Hizwan Ahmad, said since Malaysia entered the transition into endemic period, rubber gloves usage have dropped significantly.
Produk lain tu banyak, kita ada catheters untuk perubatan, kita ada tires, yang juga kita ada rubber high damping rubber bearing system ini untuk kegunaan bangunan-bangunan lah, untuk mengelakkan mengelakkan gempa bumi, mengelakkan kesan yang besar sekiranya berlaku gempa bumi.
At the same time, he said MRC will explore new market for locally produced rubber gloves. Nur Hizwan added that the council will continue monitoring the price for rubber gloves to ensure the demand for it remains stable. He said this at the MRC Aidilfitri Open House in Kuala Lumpur today. Wrapping up the news at 10, in our top story, Malaysia and Japan boost bilateral relations efforts. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. Till then, it's lights out. I'm Brendan Paul. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic weekend and take care.